Well, hey, this is Steve, a Thousand Year Home. So I'm going to talk about temporary power in a shipping container. So real quick here, I got a quote from the Blue Bonnet, which is my local power supply, power company, and to run a line to here, which is a third of a mile from my nearest neighbor, $48,000. Now, I could build a lot of solar for $48,000. Every building could get its own 12 kilowatt solar generator, and then I'd have triple redundancy. Now, I don't think I need that much. I live pretty small. So we'll talk about what I'm doing for temporary power, and then for big power, I already bought my solar. I need to get that all set up, but let me rotate here. All right, so my shipping container is broken out into 3 zones. So you'll see right there that I'm using a heavy gauge extension cord, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit, but it's more than $100 extension cord. Now, a lot less than 48,000, but still a lot for extension cords. But my power needs as somebody who's off grid is already very small. Washers, dryers. I do have a washer and dryer, and I'll set that up later on. But I could actually plug that into my truck and generate on those if I wanted to. But for the house itself, you'll see that I'm wiring it with 12 and 14 gauge appropriately. There's lights in the ceiling and ceiling fans, a little bit of wattage, but it's broken out into 3 zones. This first zone, it will be my office. Now, I'm living in it this winter, so it's got a bed set up in there. And the second zone, this will be my bathroom, and I'm going to get the field bathtub roughed in this week on that so I could do it. And that's what that sink is for. Really cool on the sink. You'll see it's put on an old Singer pedestal. So I'll get that wired up. And of course, that'll have ground faults. And anywhere where there's water, I didn't put an outlet. See, so there's not an outlet there, but there's an outlet here. And then the majority of the water outlets will be around my sink, which will be here, made out of an antique ice box. But, plenty his and hers power, plus some sconces, plus this light. And then this area here will be a master bedroom. And I've already got all the conduit pulled. You'll see there's conduit in there. It's all set up on the thing. The outdoor lights will be all on Amazon, and so I don't have to have very many light switches, just an always on. And then the outside lights will be voice command, Alexa, turn on the outside lights, and she'll turn them on for me. So, but that's where we're at right now. Let me put you on pause and I'll show you this temporary setup. So, outside a little bit of conduit, I'm way less than 48,000. Like there's not $1,000 here, and I bought wire to pull this thing. So, but each one of these zones, there's 3 zones. Each one of them I'll wire temporarily into extension cord, which will run. And then eventually I'll get it into my solar combiner box once I get my solar going. But I'll put you on pause. We'll take a look at my temporary power. So my temporary power comes right out through the floor of the Connex. And it comes through this floor box that is insulated, so I don't have anything there. Now that'll be for my low voltage. And as you can see, it's a 50-foot 10-3 indoor-outdoor. So buy a good extension cord. They're not cheap. So when you take a look at what's going on here, this is a Ford hybrid, and it's got 240 up here, 30 amps. So I could run, a welder on the top. And it's A and B phase, so it's 7.2 kilowatts. I don't know if you can see that. But right now I'm just using your standard 110 because all I've got on it is a computer. And it's got 120, 20 amp, 2.4 kilowatts on 2 different circuits. And you'll see there's my circuit breakers right there. So that's how I'm running it, and I don't have to run solar all night long. So the rest of this video will be me setting up my my desk, my computer desk, and everything. You saw it was already set up in there, so I'll be going back in time and setting that up. But I thought it'd be interesting to share the difference between an off-grid house going with solar and compared to the $48,000 that was quoted. Now, that's not wiring the house. That's to put in a temporary pole out here. And I'm not even sure. I talked to some of my other neighbors who had built little off-grid things, and they cleared a path, and then the power company disinclined to put in poles for them. So, out here in small town, I'm sorry, you might get, if they take an impartial approach to you and don't want you there, they just won't give you service. So with solar, I don't care. I'll run my own power. So the rest of this video will be me setting up my office, getting that temporary quarters around for the winter. But I thought it's interesting that you can see that I'm going to go, each shipping container will have 3 zones. Each zone could be run on an extension cord, so I got redundancy there. And then I could buy additional solar racks and battery units for each one of the containers plus the barn. So that's my approach. I'm not sure what yours is, but this is temporary. When it's final, there'll be solar, big solar on the roof. But I thought you all would like to see that, and it's running everything fine. Lastly, I do have a Jackery, and it's on the fritz. It lasted 2 years, went just beyond the warranty, and died. So, the Jackery I used for the garage and the portable tools, and I miss it dearly. But I could run that office on a Jackery too, if indeed I had small solar, 200 watts on the roof. It would be all right. That's here in Texas. Your mileage will vary based on your neck of the woods. All right, let's watch the rest of the video. All right, my little wooden chair I'm going to bring in for my office chair. These do not survive 32, so I'm going to be moving on in. That's an aloe vera, and those are iron plants. Sometimes they call them mother-in-law's tongues here in the States, so they're coming in. My only tropicals, I don't think they're going to survive. All right, so I've got a couple of things I need to do. That's just a little too close to the window, and when that's a black body of space, the cold just kind of wafts onto the bed. So I'm going to pull the bed out a little bit, make a little room on that side. I'm going to put that brass plate there, run my extension cord here so I can run my router and computers. I've got, in this thing, I've got propane, and man, that'll heat up this place in a heck of a hurry. Beyond these doors is the rest of my construction project, and I've decided I want to be engaged on it this year, so I'm moving in so that I'm directly in here. Field shower is next, and then this is the back bedroom. So what I'm using as a bedroom there is really a front office / guest room, but right now I'll go ahead and get that wired up. So let me go ahead and set up a camera and cut in these library plates so I can get some power into this place. I've got it semi-wired, but I don't have my solar set up. Big solar on the roof here, so anyway, but I do want to move into this. My apologies for the dark little corner, but I am living pretty Spartan, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. Let's see, does that get enough light? That's too much light. All right. So anyway, I'm not worried about putting a hole in here, because this is where my low voltage will come through. My router cables, and I have an outdoor weather station, video cameras, security cameras, anything that I need that will come into the house will be here. And of course, then I have my 110 coming in, which is not all completely wired. So anyway, that will be where my low voltage is going to go anyway. So I'm going to, the hole that I knock in the floor will be a forever hole. So let's go ahead and lay that out and cut that real quick. I'm losing daylight. And these kind of extension cords that are the 3 gauge, they're super expensive. So expect to shell out some good money for them. But if you're doing construction, that'll run an air conditioning unit, it'll run a heater. So definitely spend a little bit of money on those. All right, everybody, so behind me you can see the sunset is going down, and I know that this doesn't make for the best of videos. I see the thumbnails myself. They're not the most flattering thumbnails, but listen, this is the way it is when you build off grid. When you're in the moment, I can see much better. I've got a couple of little solar, candles Leah brought out that are filling up this little space, and I turn off, at night. I turn those off. It's the darkest dark you'd ever want to see, and it's the quietest you'd ever want to hear, right? It's just the sound of the crickets and the wind blowing. Not even much of that in here. So, but be brave. If you're going to build off grid, expect some moments like this where you're building in the dark and in the quiet, and it's part of the reward, right, of building in such an environment. And I certainly enjoy it. And so you saw I drilled the hole there, and I put in what I'm calling they're probably called brass floor covers, is what they're probably called, outlet covers. I call them library, because that's what I grew up in. Libraries, they had those in the floor and at all the stations. So that's an old word, a library. So, but anyway, you see, that's a handy way. So all of my 110 is in the walls, and then anything that I need to pull that's low voltage, I'm going to pull through underneath. I'm 2 foot up off the air with this particular build with these 2 shipping container homes, and then I'll have a great floor that'll go in between, and that way it'll be mounted up. And if there ever is a 500-year flood, I'm pretty sure that this particular building will be up above that by quite a bit. So I'm not in a 500 flood plain, but the back corner of my 30 acres is, and you never know, you never know. So by raising it up 2 foot, I know that I'll have a little a castle-like vibe, and there'll be ramps that I can, as I get old, I won't have to be going upstairs, but I'll have stairs and ramps, and I'll also build it up so that I could physically bring a car into the Great Hall if I need to. So I can always change the Great Hall into a car when I get older. So, but this is Steve, 1,000-Year Home, and isn't this nice? Y'all, it's just really nice. But I did get done with that little project. Got a lot of other things done. I brought home some wood skirting so I could skirt the outside. I'm still working towards the foundation. Did a lot of moving, planting, straightening out today. So it was a good weekend, but I did get that power. Tomorrow when I've got light, I could go ahead and move my computer, move my Starlink, get this set up as an office bedroom to survive the wind blowing winter that I'm looking at. Plus it rains a lot more. And I think I could get all the way through to February and get all of that done while I'm here. If I'm right here in it, I'm going to be more tempted to get it done. So thank you very much for watching. This is Steve, 1,000-Year Home. Appreciate those that like, subscribe, follow me along. It is quiet. It is dark. So I get a lot out of this YouTube. When people comment, I always comment back. So feel free to comment. Good, bad, or ugly. Feel free to put that comment in there. Thanks much. Bye-bye.